I'm so happy to have you here today, this morning, for a little chat. For everyone who'd like to know who Eya is, she is a fitness coach who resides in London, and she also works online with the clients around the world as well. And I am very happy to have you here this morning, where we can chat a little bit about the fitness and just see your perspective on a couple of things. And let me begin of asking you, what is exciting happening in your fitness world right now?
So thank you so much for having me. What's exciting at the moment? So many things are happening, but I would say lately it really was the shift that we've seen from aesthetic goals to health focused, and that has become bigger and bigger over the years. Like men starting to talk about it with a lot of amazing podcasts and really understanding it's not just about the body anymore, but also how we feel and being goal driven and how we can carry that mindset into other area of life. And then on the woman's side, what's happening at the moment is absolutely fantastic in terms of understanding the woman body, the hormones, that basically, as Dr. Sims would say, we're not just small men, we are complete different individual, and a lot of science is being now run across, women to understand our physiology, how we should train, how we should eat, and how we should look after ourselves. So I would say for me, that's the most exciting part is diving into actual health, and then, the body transformation will come as a byproduct of it.
Yeah, I love that actually. I watched another podcast earlier, how they were explaining, as we know ourselves, the men and women are different, and so the men have a different type of approach to exercise, and women are starting to shift to the exercise, uh, what needs it for them, because they are completely different. I think it's very fascinating now. I think we definitely maybe can catch up some other time as well to dive a little bit deeper about that, because I love this topic and I'm learning about it myself more and more as well. So it's very exciting. Let me ask you about shifts. Like, I'm very interested in finding out when you look at the client you coach and who has made the biggest shift, what's the one mindset shift they go and through in the process?
I think it's when they really start to rebuilding that relationship with themselves. So everyone will start because they want to lose weight or they want to, build a little bit of muscle, have like a toned, defined body. And then what we find is over time, the self-confidence shift is actually the most important one because we will set small goals each week, and that wins is celebrated every single week. And they start saying, "Oh, when I say I'm gonna do something, I'm actually gonna do it." And that's the most important part of the journey because there is a lot of self-betrayal, being stuck in cycle of failure for such a long time. And it can be as simple as I said to myself that I will be doing twice the gym this week, or I will start using my voice, actually start expressing my needs, and saying to people, I'm entering that journey. This is important for me. So no, I'm not going to go, eat out with you today because I have to wake up to go working out in the morning. And that is a great shift. So self-confidence, but also confidence then to go to their peers and basically say, this is me now. And I've accepted myself, accept me too.
Mm. So it's like a small, starting with the small little steps, and not to overdo, like, that's it, I'm starting exercising now, I'm going to the gym, I don't know, 4 or 5 times, and then you ended up going one time and then you feel disappointed in yourself that you didn't. Oh yeah, building those small little habits. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Because you have a lot of people that are just, they run on motivation, but motivation is not sustainable. No one is motivated absolutely every single day. And when you go from, I'm motivated, so yes, as a coach, I'm going to tap into that momentum, but not to, burn out the person. but making sure that we're putting in place actual systems that are sustainable. So whether it's going to the gym, when are we going to do the grocery, what's your surrounding, what's your sleep pattern. And each week there is something to celebrate. And overall, those little steps will create the journey, they're going to take for years and years and years, way beyond coaching. I'm talking 15, 20 because we're doing that for longevity. So that is the best shift.
Yeah. Would you agree that the sleep is one of the most important things that the person should have? Because I know, and personally, I know people who sleep during the night like 5 hours, and like personally, I can't. I need my 8, 9 hours at night. When I found that I don't get that, I feel very tired. So
Yes.
do you think it would be this ideal goal to sleep at night for recovery and for feeling best? Do you feel everyone is different? Or do you feel that there's a certain amount of how long a person should sleep at night?
In
That would be
general,
interesting.
anywhere between 7 and 9 hours would be optimal. Then I know people that are operating amazingly with just 6 hours, and some other will need 10 plus. So we're all different, but in general, anything between 7 and 9 hours. But I think what's really important, aside of how long do we sleep, is the actual quality of sleep. Because we all had that when we slept for 10 hours and we wake up and we feel absolutely exhausted. It's because our body was not properly recovering. I give you an example. If I go to bed after having, alcohol and, very heavy, salty, rich food, I'm going to bed. What my body will do is number one is eliminating the toxin, that is the alcohol, because that's a poison. So the body will fully focus on that. And then will do its best to, digest all the food I put in. So the focus is not on my sleep and recovery. So it's really important that when we are going to sleep, we are in a state when we actually can give the body the rest that it deserves. And you would always prefer a 6 hours good quality sleep with a good balance between deep sleep and REM rather than 10 hours because you've passed out and you wake up, as exhausted as when you went to bed.
Yeah, I totally agree. The quality of sleep is most important one, isn't it? The gosh. Um, I know that you're very into holistic approach with when you're fitnessing and when you're coaching your clients as well. And so for you, from the lifestyle or holistic angle, what a small everyday habit could really move the needle of recovery and energy for the clients or for yourself when you're doing the fitness? What would be your suggestions?
Just to ground yourself. It sounds very, very simple, but we also, on the go all the time with constant dopamine hit, external dopamine hit that we are basically all over the place. And we keep on taking decision that goes against either our well-being or our goals. And I think just finding that pause button to just 2 seconds, just breathe rather than jumping on the next tweet or scrolling through Instagram or whatever you're doing, but just 1 second, just breathe, come back to yourself. And every time stretching the gap over and over and over between the emotion and the reaction allows for freedom. And that is freedom for any area of life, really. When I decide to prioritize my recovery, when I decide to prioritize my workout, when I decide to prioritize my nutrition, and everything that I do is fully aligned and doesn't operate on, that frontal that we have here that just on survival mode constantly, but just taking conscious decision. That is the main thing. Just pause, breathe, recalibrate.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you in that one. Absolutely, 100%. Let me ask you then, we have so many diets today. Like I know personally people who've been yo-yo dieting all their life and it works just temporary and people then just go back to their old ways and the weight as well. What is your approach to that? Like, freedom versus strict dieting, or how we can balance that. And specifically when you work with your clients as well, how you manage to find that sweet spot in between.
I think there is two things here. First of all, is to define what is freedom. Freedom is choice, right? So if I eat a pizza, but it's not out of choice, but just because I'm stressed and so on, and then 10 minutes later, all I feel is guilt and regret and why have I done that? I was doing so well this week. That's not freedom to me because you've been almost forced to do something you don't actually want to do. And then when it comes to balance, it always has to be a sort of equation between this is where I want to go and this is the route I'm willing to take. And a lot of people, they have an idea of that dream body. But as I always say, it cannot be your dream body if it's hell to get there. So if your idea of dream body requires 5 strength training per week, 40 minutes of cardio per day, you cannot eat out with your friend, you can't drink alcohol, you need to eat out of Tupperware. For some people, that's hell. So you also need to understand that clearly that's not what you want, right? We cannot want the outcome without wanting the destination. And this is where the balance happens. The balance is this is what I want, this is what I'm willing to do. And this is the time I am willing for this to take. So if it's really, really important for me that every Friday it's pizza night with my friend, I love it. I don't want to compromise a bit. That's absolutely fine. We will balance. We will understand that we might not get those crazy results, but it will be a happy medium where I'm happy with my body. I'm happy with my social life and my well-being is on check. So it's always look at what am how much do I want it? And what am I willing to do to get there? Balance is different for everybody. Some people will think my lifestyle is not balanced, that it's too extreme. But to me, it's not extreme because I enjoy doing it and it provides me the result that I want to have. For other people, their balance is somewhere in the spectrum, and that's absolutely fine, but that's very personal.
Absolutely, I agree. Like for me personally, also, I feel the balance is the most important thing, and not to feel guilt about it. Um, you, and this is what I say to my kids as well, because it's very hard to keep, especially children, away from all the treats and stuff because it's available everywhere. So what I personally say to them, okay, make sure there's a balance. You have a chocolate bar, make sure you drink water or eat some kind of fruit or vegetable to balance that out. I don't know if I'm doing it right, but I feel this is this is the way how I want them to learn. If you eat something like that, you also balance it out with something healthier. So I don't know. That's kind of.
Yeah, I understand the thought. The only thing I would say with that is to be very mindful that we not bring judgment to food. Food is food. There is no good food and bad food. When I was anorexic and I was recovering, a pain au chocolat was good food to me because gaining 20 kg saved my life. Today, it would not make sense to have a pain au chocolat with me because it's not in line with what I'm trying to achieve. Food is very neutral. The question is, does it fit my goal? Yes or no? So there is nothing to compensate for. It's very much thinking, okay, is that do I need it? Do I want it? And then release the shame because the shame, whatever you resist persists. The shame is what will keep you locked.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. On that note, when for somebody who's listening right now, watching this episode with you and feel stuck or that perhaps are very busy in their everyday lives, because everyone's life is busy, work, families, whatever that is. Um, what would you suggest would be for them to, for small little step they could take forward to become, maybe they want to start exercising, but they just don't know where to begin. What would you say to that person? How can they begin?
Yeah. I think the first thing is to put it on paper because once in the mind, it just go a little bit fizzy and then reverse engineer the process. So say I don't go to the gym and I'd like to eat healthy. My vision on a vision board, some people are very visual, could be I'd like to go to the gym 3 times a week and only have one meal out per week. Okay, what would be the step before that? What would be the step before that? And you go back to where you are right now, and that will tell you the step one. So step one might be, am I not willing to go to the gym yet? But today I'm gonna go and get a yoga mat so I can start practicing at home. Or I'm gonna go for a walk and get my step in, whatever this is, but you'll start with sort of the vision, your end goal, and then you will reverse engineer from there. And then you're like, okay, this is why I'm here. This is my step one. And really use that momentum and take action. It doesn't have to be big. That might be today I'm going to buy a yoga mat or subscribe to a membership or ask for help with a coach or buy a big bottle of water to make sure I drink enough water. And every time you're sort of topping your confidence jar, and then you'll move to the next step very naturally. Because if you look at the end goal, that might seem, it's like if you want to build a business and say, oh, how I'm going to make 1 million. It's not going to happen overnight. But you reverse engineer from your starting position and then you take action every day, small, but every day you take an action that will move you towards that.
Absolutely. I have a question. Okay. So like you have a lot of clients you're training at the moment. So you have a handful of men and handful of women. And what do you find is the difference between two, like female and male? How do you train?
Mhm.
I'm very interested in that actually. And who is the easiest to train? Is it women who are more, okay, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna stick to this plan, or I don't know, maybe both parties are, the same, but there must be some kind of difference.
Yeah, there definitely is difference. I think when it comes to training, the way I train men and women is the same because it's strength training, right? So if you want to grow your quads, your glutes, your biceps, you're gonna have to go through the same sort of training. Where I will adjust with women is based on their cycle and energy level. So if you think about the hormones, as women, we are cycled. We're gonna have 4 main phases. A man has a 24 hours cycle, meaning the testosterone will rise in the morning and decline in the evening, and that's it. Hence why they are so called consistent, right? Because they would be the same every single day of the month. So that is the difference where we manipulating energy, need for extra carbs in luteal phases, and so on. When it comes to the coaching part, a woman might need more reassurance, might need more confidence, to believe in herself again, to put herself out there, not to be scared to lift heavy weight, to, just as I say, use her voice and say, no, I'm not going to have that meal today. I'm going to cook for myself. Um, when a man, that might be the opposite. And sometimes we are seeing overconfidence where how heavy I lift is more important than the form. And I had situation where literally we had to drop the weight back 60 to 70% to learn the basic again because they've hit a plateau. Take a squat, for example, they've hit a plateau. And I could see why, because the fit positioning was not on. But it's been years, the body has been programmed to perform this exercise in a certain way. So to convince a man to drop down a squat at 40 kg and to learn from there, that will be a challenge because they're very performance driven and ego driven. And, if they squat and there is a woman next to that squat more than them, that could be a little bit of a problem as well. And they are less attentive to their recovery. Getting a man to do mobility work and yoga and, to be more meticulous with that
Yeah.
part is challenging. So, and then obviously it's more a question of energy. I have some women that have very strong masculine energy that I would pretty much, coaching in that way. So regardless of the gender, um, but to answer your question, yeah, those are the main two
Yeah,
differences.
absolutely. Yeah. Oh, you have such a fun job. I love it.
Like, it's the best job in the world.
Oh, I love it. On a personal level, you
Mhm.
probably have not probably, you definitely must have some kind of rituals for yourself. What makes you feel healthy, balanced, and grounded? Would you share with us what that might be for you? Because maybe perhaps someone who might listen might maybe, oh, I love this, and I'd like to integrate in my grounding ritual as well. What is your to go to thing for yourself to feel grounded?
You would be journaling. So every morning I'd wake up and I journal, and it doesn't take a lot. It's not structure. It's not a nice little pretty journal. It's very much, I will write down whatever is in my mind. So it's almost like emptying what's there. I can see it if there is any worry, any fear, and just sort of recalibrate. So it doesn't eat me alive, throughout the day. And then is the walk. It's very, very simple, but I walk anywhere between 15 to 20,000 steps a day. So it doesn't matter if it rains, if it's cold or not. It's just going out, especially at this time of year when we don't get a lot of sun. Now, obviously, I work for myself, so I know that I can plan my schedule around it. But when and if possible, it doesn't have to be that many steps, but for everyone just to walk, that might be the next tube station or you know, when you're on a meeting, if it's a phone meeting, just walk. We don't have to be sitting down all the time. So yeah, that are my two, and free as well. Don't need to be to some fancy restorative studio. It's write and walk, and that's more than enough for my mind and my body.
I love that. I love writing myself personally as well. I think it's a very good way to put your mind into okay, everything what you have, especially for people or for ourselves, because we overthink a lot. Just to put everything down on a paper, and then we can clearly see, okay, this what I've been thinking of, it doesn't really serves me, or this is actually really good, and creating that little how you could say like the escape, like it's like you're or your own investigator just to see what's happening within your mind. Yeah, I love that. Um, okay, I'd like to lastly ask you a question of for people who would be listening to this and would be inspired by your work, how can they find you? And maybe there is some kind of offer at the moment which you're offering, and yeah, maybe share a little bit about that.
Oh, it's very simple. It's just on my Instagram. That's the easiest way, Eya Marchal, and that's it. I'm not present on any other platform. But even my stories, social media is quite funny because I never had an Instagram before launching my business online. So yeah, that was my my biggest personal challenge. We're talking of getting out of the comfort zone. That was mine for me. But yeah, as simple as that, they can contact me there. There is a link in the bio for pre-application, or they can send me a DM. And then normally what happens is that I ask a few questions just to make sure that I'm the right person for them. We have a free consultation call where I sort of audit their lifestyle. I present what I do, and if they're happy with that, we can then start the journey.
So that's amazing. And I'm going to put everything as well under description for everybody who would like to get in touch with you. And thank you so much. I loved our chat. And I think maybe sometime in the down the road, we can definitely catch up and talk about a little bit more about women and the hormones and all that. I'm
Yes.
really, really passionate about it and very interested as well. Um, okay, on that note, I'd like to wish you a very nice day. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for everyone who would be joining it and watching it. If you would like to share our episode, please do, if it might inspire somebody else. And on that note, till the next time. Bye.
Thank you, Inga. Bye.